least 2 millennia in ancient civilizations. But it was the World War II. There was 3 devastating diseases transmitted by insects, 2 of them by mosquitoes, malaria and yellow fever, and the epidemic typhus transmitted by body louse. And the war has stopped because all soldiers are sick. And at that time, there was a great invention of DDT. So World War II opened the modern era for chemical insecticides, which started with DDT use. And everybody was happy because of DDT, because it controlled vectors, so there is no disease. The soldiers are healthy again, and the war starts again. And World Health Organization proposed global eradication of malaria by the use of residual house spray of DDT in 1955. But what happened is resistance against DDT because of repeated use. And in 1967, WHO reverted from malaria eradication to malaria control because of mosquito resistance. So malaria eradication, it's a very far dream to be established till yet. Then the umbrella of insecticides had covered newer insecticides like organophosphates, carbamates, and pyrethroids. These synthetics cause health and environmental hazards and re-emergence of diseases. So, natural and safe alternative strategies are an urgent need. The magic solution is biorational insecticides. Have you ever heard about this expression? Biorational? I wrote a chapter called EcoSmart Biorational Insecticides in this book, which is called Insecticides Advanced and Integrated Pest Management. It's easily, you can easily download it from the internet. It covers all the natural control strategies. The word biorational derived from 2 words, biological and rational. It refers to insecticides that have limited or no adverse effect on the environment, non-target organisms, and humans. They include biochemical, biological, and transgenic insecticides. Here, the biological, they are all natural enemies, like microbial, predators, and parasites. And biochemical, botanical, pheromones, photoinsecticides, inorganics, and IGR. I'm going to give you a broad idea about all of them. I'm going to start with my favorite, which is botanicals. They could be old or new. The old, like pyrethrum and other traditionals. The new and the future trend with neem and essential oils. And neem actually used traditionally in India as a great repellent, insect repellent, and the active principle is azadirachtin. It has great biological effect and used in drugs and cosmetic. It acts as anti-fidant, IGR, insect growth regulator, so it controls the growth of the insect. I'm going to tell you about that later on. Specifically, it acts as ecdysone blocker. It acts on the hormone of the insect. It also acts as oviposition deterrence, and it causes female sterility. That's the neem. Here is, I'm going to share with you some of my work over 15 years ago because I'm specified about insect control strategies. Here is rabbits infected with Sarcoptes cabiai var caniculi. Here is the control one, and here is the treated one with aqueous neem extract. And this work has been published last year in the Parasitology research. Essential oils, they are generally recognized as safe, or they call GRAS, G-R-A-S, by the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency in US. They act as ovicidal, larvicidal, adulticidal repellents, insect growth regulators, and chemosterilants. Their active principles are mainly the monoterpenoids like cinnamaldehyde, eugenol, cineol, generol, piperine. Plants also are great repellent for insects, like lavender, geranium, marigold, coriander, chrysanthemum, peppermint, lemongrass, cedarwood, patchouli. Also, tomato leaves. You know, tomato leaves are great for mosquito repellent. Bay leaf are great for cockroaches repellent, so you put it in the kitchen drawers. Eucalypts are generalized repellents. Also basil, catnip, and lemongrass. All these are great repellents. Artemisia, which is sheikh in Arabic, citronella, juniper. Juniper has a great fumigant effect. It could be greatly used for controlling bed bugs or closed areas. Bed bugs, you know, are hiding in the beds and the cracks. So juniper has great fumigant effect. EOs means essential oils. There are some products of essential oils actually, like green ban and Bazaway contains a blend of oils. And as I mentioned before, they are called grass, generally recognized as safe. And here, some of my work about controlling of houseflies with essential oils. That's from my PhD, actually, in 23. I work about biocontrol of some insects, including houseflies and mosquitoes, with all natural materials. And I use essential oils and IGRs, and here is the malformation. You can see there is larval pupil, intermediate stages, and here is the normal pupa, and here is the deformed pupa after treatment, and here is failure of adult occlusion. These are sublethal doses. The lethal doses kill right away, but the sublethal doses also control the population. Here is the normal adult stage, and here is the deformed adult stage. For mosquitoes, I treated at larva. I treated the last larval stage, and I follow up till the adult stage. Here is the malformed mosquitoes, mosquito larvae, here, larva, pupa, and malformed adults. This is from my PhD also, and also from my work about mosquito with essential oils. This work has been published in 28 in the Revista de Instituto de Medicina Tropical de São Paulo in Brazil in 28. Also, myiasis producing flies, I work with them and I like them. The green flies, I work them, control them with essential oils, these essential oils. And here is the normal stages, larva, pupa, adult, and here is the malformed stages. And this work actually published in 2 years, 2009 and 2011 in the International Journals of Dermatology. Cephalopina producing fly, myiasis producing fly, what's Cephalopina titillator? Have you heard about it? Do you know, all of you know the estrus ovis for sheep? The similar species in camel is called Cephalopina titillator. I work with some essential oils. And here is the normal larva, and here are the deformed stages. And this work has been published in the Parasitology research in 2014. And here are the deformed pupae in the same work. Also, I made camphor oil and pigeon lice. You know the pigeon, we eat pigeon in Egypt actually. So we raise them for eating. Although they are the symbol of peace, but we eat them. They could be infected with Columbicola columbi. So I control them with camphor oil, which give great effect in vivo and in vitro. I made also another work about controlling louse infecting buffaloes in a buffalo farm in Egypt. And it has not, the essential oils not only control lice problem, but also it repels flies. It repels flies from invading the buffaloes. Here, insect growth regulators that I talked about. Actually, the essential oils act as insect growth regulators. There are two main classes of insect growth regulators. They are chemicals, but they are safe. The first one, affecting insect hormones, like diazosteroid agonist, juvenile hormone analogs, and anti-juvenile hormones. Juvenile hormones actually prevent insects from maturing, so they stay as larvae. The harmful stage here is mosquitoes. The larval stages are not harmful anymore. They are great for the web, the food web. There is another creatures that eat them. So if they are staying as larvae, that will be great, as long as there is no adult mosquitoes. The other class of IGRs, chitin sensitive inhibitor, they inhibit the production of chitin, so insect is unable to produce new exoskeleton. So it inhibits molting. It inhibits molting. So this class of insect is very efficient for tuft grass insects and also for myices producing flies, because the harmful stage is the larvae. So if the harmful stage is larvae, we use chitin sensitive inhibitor. If the harmful stage is adult stage, we use anti-juvenile hormones. Here is another chemical, which is acid. Peracetic acid, I discovered it's a caricidal effect for the first time. It gives great effect. It's just decomposed into citric acid and water. It's very safe. It controls Boophilus, Anopheles, and Argus, Persigus, in vitro and in vivo, which give a very, very great control other than deltamethrin. And this work has been published in Parasitology research. Also, pheromones. Pheromones is a class of semiochemicals that insects release to communicate with other individuals of the same species. So it's a way of communication. So we are acting here on the behavior control. So this phenomenon could be used for male trapping, movement monitoring, or confusion. And the fly trap are working very well. This sticky trap working very well for years and years, and there is no resistance against them, actually. Actually, flies have a very, very stupid behavior that could be used against them. What is that? Actually, as soon as a fly gets trapped, others can't wait to join them. So they like each other. They like to be with each other. Like people who are going to a demonstration. Once they found some, the other crowd just joined them. So this behavior could be used against houseflies, and 18 billion flies can be wrong. And there is no resistance. It's safe. It's just in one click, control the problem. For mosquitoes, you could use CO2 traps also are very effective. This is from my recent work. I like it very much, which using photosensitizer. Phototoxicity of West Bengal against the camel tick, Hyaloma dromedari. This work has been published last year. A photoactive compound, which is called photosensitizer, actually accumulates within the insect body, and exposure to visible light leads to lethal photochemical reactions and death of the organism. And this phenomenon could be used against not only ticks, it's already used to control bacteria, fungi, any harmful creature, and also used for cancer treatment. So the power of the light here gives the magic solution. So if there is a light, there is action. If there is no light, there is no action. These materials actually accumulate the light, absorb the light. So they get more energy. To release their energy, they release the energy. This energy, this is the power of oxidizing energy, kill the harmful organisms. So I found that Rose Bengal is highly effective than ivermectin, which is a commercial drug for controlling ticks and insects in general, when used at lower doses and short exposure time. The most fascinating thing is, if we expose tick to Rose Bengal for 1400 seconds illuminated by the use of light source, we would get the same effect after exposing them to the sunlight for 1 second. Which is a very practical point, actually, because camels are living in the desert, and the sunlight is available all year round. So just spray the material on the camels, let them to go to the sun, and the sun will do the rest. Okay? And this one also used for mosquito control. If you put these materials in the water, it kills the mosquito larvae. Now it's time for the bio-age terminators, which is natural enemies. I'm going to start with microbial control. It's called biological control, which has 3 main steps. Conservation of existing natural enemies, introduction of new natural enemies, and establishing a permanent population. Then massive release. So here, microbial insecticides. We always get sick from diseases, from bacteria, from microbes. Insects also have the same thing. So we're going to use the microbial insecticide against insects. So these insecticides include either the microorganism or their toxin. I'm going to start with the famous bacteria that has been used for insect growth called Bacillus thuringiensis, or BT, Bacillus thuringiensis. It's a spore-forming, occurring commonly in the soil, gram-positive. It could be very specific to insect, or it could include a higher order of insects. Actually, the antitoxin of Bacillus do the work. When the condition of the bacterial growth are not optimal, Bacillus thuringiensis, like many bacteria, makes spores. It not only makes spore, this is the spore, it induces also spore endotoxin. And the spore endotoxin kill the insect. How? Because they make rupture of the midgut. Here is the epithelial cell. They make pores in the midgut and finally rupture the midgut and the insect die. And there is a lot of products actually using Bacillus thuringiensis. Here's a specific one for mosquitoes, Bacillus thuringiensis var israelensis. It had been produced in Egypt. It's called Vectobac, this product. And I use it for my PhD work. And this Bacillus is called Bacillus sphaericus, also used for mosquito control. BTI, which is Bacillus thuringiensis israelensis, could be used in sensitive water bodies, whereas Bacillus sphaericus could be used in polluted waters. Now it's time for the transgenic pesticides, or genetically modified organisms or groups. Genetically altered by artificial introduction of DNA from another organism. This is a very famous story about controlling the European corn borer by incorporating the gene of the Bacillus thuringiensis into corn. So these hidden insects that couldn't insecticides cannot reach them. When they eat the corn with already the BT, they will die. And also there is recombinant bacteria. You know, I told you that the bacteria has different endotoxin. If we combine different toxin from different bacteria into one new bacteria, that gives great effect. Actually, it was 10-fold more toxic than the wild type of BT or BS alone. Also, transgenic mosquitoes, they block the ability to transmit malaria. Now, fungi, they are great because they control the problem, okay, very fast. Here is the Legnedium giganteum, which is very specific fungi for mosquitoes. I isolated in my PhD work for the first time from the Middle East. It gives a great effect, actually. And also Bovaria bassiana. They are entomologically safe. Here is also one specific for houseflies. It's called Entomophthora musci. Also, I isolated from my PhD for the first time, and it kills insects. And insects infected with this fungi, they do have a specific posture that allows them to spread their conidia. And here is the symptoms of mycosis of infected flies from my PhD work. Also, protozoa could be used. There is products for it, and there is nematodes. The nematodes, the most famous nematodes, Steiner nema and Hypertidae. Actually, there is a symbiotic relation between bacteria and the nematodes. Once the larvae infected with L3 of the nematode release bacteria. The bacteria release endotoxin that kill the larva. Then the nematode eat the bacteria again and eat the insect and propagate inside the insect. And self-control products, actually. And this could be used against mosquitoes, could be used against houseflies. There is products about controlling fleas outside. And also Parasitology musca domestici. Now it's parasitoids. Parasitoids, they spend a specific portion of its life history attached to single organism. So do you see this? There is a wasp emerging from the cockroach. So this is the parasitoid that invade the eggs of insect or invade the pupa. It depends on the species. It's called parasitoids. And here is some natural plants that attract the natural enemies. Here is parasitoids that eat the insect. This one, they're called dragonflies, are great mosquito predators. These dragonflies eat mosquitoes in the air, and their larvae eat mosquitoes in the water. So they are great, but they grow only in, their larvae grow only in the very clean water, not in polluted areas. So if you see this in a place, you'll be sure that you are in a good environmental place, not polluted area. Sterile insect technique, you know these. Now it's for the future trends with nanoparticles. Nanoparticles, they could be used for vector and pest management, and they could be used also for nanosensor. And here is my work about nanomaterials for controlling mosquitoes. Nanoencapsulation and or microencapsulation, the future trend. It's a process which an insecticide is slowly but efficiently released to particular host for insect pest control. They are called smart insecticides or intelligent insecticides because they could be release their cargo with a specific signal like heat, like moisture, ultrasound. They only could release their cargo in the intestinal, in the midgut of the intestine of the fly, regarding the pH.
We are 5 minutes over time already.
Okay, integrated pest management is to tailor all these together. And now it's time for full speed ahead toward the best pest control with biorational insecticides. And biorational insecticides actually close the road for conventional insecticides. And for more information, you can read either of my chapters or my review articles. And goodbye and thank you. And you could always find me on my email and contact number. Thank you.